Hey guys, Jebber Game Jaws here. So I was nominated to do a Final Fantasy Memories post by Ellie Honda. This is a little bit intimidating for me because this game I love so much, and I feel like a lot of other people love it, and it's been talked about millions of times, and it's kind of hard to bring anything new to the table. Um, but at the same time, that doesn't change the fact that it still affected me as much as it did, and um, my experience and my feelings about the game were so real, and the game continues to be one of my favorite games of all time, and a game that I will definitely play forever. I'll replay that game every couple years probably for the rest of my life. I don't ever see that changing. And that game was Final Fantasy VII for the original PlayStation. So my personal history with Final Fantasy VII, I was about 12 years old, and I had bought my own original PlayStation. It was the first console I ever bought with my own money, and I was loving it. I was having a good time playing games like Army Men 3D and Spyro the Dragon and Crash Bandicoot and Siphon Filter. I bought because of a demo disc. So I was having a lot of fun. Um, but then something changed, and that was that my sister was dating a guy at college named Ryan, and Ryan was a gamer and knew that I had a PlayStation, and he lent me two games, and those two games really changed the way that I saw gaming for the rest of my life, and those were Final Fantasy VII and Metal Gear Solid. And I was never really the same, and gaming was never the same for me. It took on an entirely new feel to it, and it took on a new prominence in my life. And Ellie talked about in her post about becoming a proficient reader due to Final Fantasy VII. And the same is true for me. I was 12, so I was able to read, but my skills went up quite a bit. My ability to grasp the information that I was reading went up a lot. My comprehension, I guess you would say. One funny thing about the game, at the time, I had a really hard time sitting still for very long, so I would play the game in about 2 hour increments, and that was the most that I could possibly take. The funny thing about the story, it was so far beyond anything that I experienced before. And the thing about Final Fantasy VII is that I knew, the first time I was playing it, I knew that it was a big deal. I didn't fully comprehend it, but I was aware enough to know that what I was experiencing was massively amazing and huge and beyond my comprehension. So it felt epic to me. I didn't understand every single plot point. Not only was it my first Final Fantasy game, it was also my first role-playing game. I had never experienced turn-based battling before. I had never played in a non-linear game. Most games, even if they weren't precisely linear, they were still very guided, and Final Fantasy VII is too. It's not like playing Fallout or Skyrim, but um, it was still pretty open. It was the most wide open thing I had ever experienced, and up to that point, and you had the most choice possible. Um, One thing that was really funny, I this shows my lack of knowledge about role playing games at the time. I got to a point where I was in Red 13's home village, and I couldn't progress any further due to how hard it had gotten. And so my friend, who was also my age, he let his older brother take a look at it, who played Final Fantasy games, and the older brother was like, started laughing and said, "You haven't even changed your weapons or armor." So he switched things up for me, and it went a lot easier from that point on. It's just really funny to look back and realize the things that I didn't even know I was missing. Again, what can you say? What can you say to really really encapsulate the profoundness of Final Fantasy VII? Um, I ended up, after playing Final Fantasy VII, it whet my appetite, and I played 9. Then I went back and played 8. then let's see, I played Final Fantasy IV and Chrono Trigger, playing Chronicles, Final Fantasy Chronicles on the PlayStation. And then after that, Final Fantasy X was released, and I played that and loved it. And I started Final Fantasy VI. I was playing that on Final Fantasy Anthology for the PlayStation, and somewhere in there I got burned out a little bit on role-playing games, and I didn't get back to that game for quite a while. But yeah, some really incredible experiences. So, Ellie, thank you for nominating me, and I'll be nominating someone else. I have to look through and see who is eligible. Ooh. All right. Peace out, guys. Hope you enjoyed this.